Welcome to the Magic of Emotional Intelligence series. I am your host, Abiola Salami, the Peak Performance Strategist. On this series, we share emotional intelligence insights to enable career professionals, entrepreneurs, and politicians achieve peak performance in their space. On this episode, we shall be sharing insights on how chief operating officers, head of departments and operations, and anyone responsible for operation teams and working within operation teams can apply emotional intelligence to achieve operational efficiency in their space. But before we get into it, let us go for a quick break. The role of Chief Operating Officer is a very important role in any organization. It is a role that is usually considered as second in command to the Chief Executive Officer. It is typically one of an enforcer, which is someone who ensures that the strategic objectives are distilled into work plans and also efficiently implemented. To a large extent, the productivity of the organization is the responsibility of the COO. Therefore, the COO's ability to oversee the entire production process is key. That is where the magic of emotional intelligence comes in. Managing people and processes requires not just a great deal of self-awareness, but awareness of other people in the workplace. There are simple but very profound ways COOs can use the elements of emotional intelligence to enhance operational efficiency in their organizations. Number one, organizational design. The first thing every COO should master is the architecture of the organization's production process. This can be achieved by having a positive outlook to production. The layout, levers and layers of decision making from ideation stage to the execution stage. The numerous human and mechanical capacities in charge of the various aspects of production, the financial allocation to each step of production, the vendors, the suppliers, the partners' deliverables, the demand from customers on daily, weekly, monthly basis. Basically, the Chief Operating Officer must have the critical numbers that are required for proper planning. Having laid out all the important components of the production process, the COO should then reverse engineer, recalibrate the current dynamics to align with the organization's vision, mission, and other deliverables. Production must always be by design and not by default. The COO therefore requires positive outlook, which is an element of emotional intelligence to achieve success. Number two, the standard operating procedures. Organizational awareness as an element of emotional intelligence is a must-have skill by every COO who hopes to enhance operational efficiency. Organizational awareness should also be driven by the COO with the creation and periodic review of the organization's standard operating procedure called SOPs. Pretty much, that is the playbook for production at each and every point. Now, this doesn't just enable better quality control management, it also ensures that whatever is being produced at any of the organization's satellite locations has a consistent signature, basically the standardization of the product. This also helps to institutionalize the production process, which is as more people join or leave the organization, they will have a formula to use, and this greatly reduces wastage. One of the not so secret reasons for the success of McDonald's franchise is that their playbook is easily adopted by new hires. That is why they can get a rookie fresh from high school with no experience in the confectionery business to thrive in a short period of time at any of their stores. Their onboarding process is unbelievably smooth, so it is no surprise that they boast of about 18,000 stores in North America alone, out of which 13,000 are in the United States of America, serving 500 million Big Macs every year. Number 3, key performance indicators, KPIs. The success or failure of any production process is very predictable because by possessing a strong sense of achievement orientation, an emotionally intelligent COO will be aware of the key performance indicators. Instead of being reactive to these metrics, the CEO should be proactive. This is by sizing up the entire goal of the organization's production process and determining what output or minimum requirement each stakeholder has to meet for that overall goal to be achieved. Let's take a hypothetical example. If company A has a net demand of 100 units of product A and it has a staff strength of 10 workers, the CEO can determine that the supplier delivers raw materials that are enough to produce 150 units. The excess will be used as strategic reserve to accommodate production fails or even to preempt excess demand from customers. The CEO then turns to the 10 workers and determines that the weekly deliverables for each person is 15 units of product A. All things being equal, at the end of that week, all the targets would have been met. KPIs help identify mediocrity. Number 4, resources management. Inspirational leadership, as a manifestation of emotional intelligence, fosters the optimization of human and material resources. Depending on the specific industry and capital outlay, most production processes are either extremely capital intensive or labor intensive. The task of the COO here, amongst other things, is to find a delicate balance of both given the available resources. If the product requires a lot of manual input, but the output needs to be scaled up, the CEO can pursue investment in more efficient technology. This is because most of the time-consuming aspects can be automated as much as possible. Many years ago, the queues in banking halls in Nigeria used to be legendary. It was so bad that people would arrive earlier just to get number tags so they could come back later to rejoin the queue. Those were the days of tally numbers. Fast forward to today, you can afford not to even step into a banking hall for up to a year because most of their systems have been highly automated, thanks to tech, from banking software to automated teller machines, down to mobile bank applications. There are even digital banks that operate almost entirely without a brick and mortar structure. As a COO, you need to identify your core using the Pareto principle, the 20% of your production process that is responsible for over 80% of your output. The CEO should advocate for a greater investment in tech and new equipment. Number 5, customer feedback. The customer remains one of the most important stakeholders to any organization, if not the most important. What they say, whether positive or negative, should be considered. It may give an insight into how the outside world rates the organization's production process. An emotionally intelligent COO must always know how to balance the influence of the organization with the influence the organization wields. This will inform the choice of what to do more, what to do less, what to start doing, and what to stop doing altogether. No matter how brilliant you think your production process is, it means nothing if the customer is not buying the final product. So listen, and listen some more. When customers complain of certain features or functions of your product, thank them for that feedback. Take it back to the production manager or supervisor and have a conversation on how those flaws can be rectified to give the customer a better experience. COOs should have the ability to see products from the perspective of the customer. Number 6, outsourcing. Outsourcing certain functions can be seen in the light of conflict management by organizations because the insistence to execute certain tasks internally may cause chaos. The key word in production is efficiency. Once it has been established by a COO using data-backed metrics that an organization doesn't have the operative capacity or competitive advantage in a certain production process, one of the options that should be strongly considered is outsourcing. The world is for specialists, and the corporate space is no different. Outsourcing is not always an indictment on the competence of the organization's leadership. Rather, it's the awareness and acknowledgement of the strength of respective organizations. Still using the banking anecdotes, most, if not all banks, focus on core banking and outsource almost everything else from cleaning to security to facility management to banking software. It is not a wise use of limited resources for them to prospect, hire, train, and manage staff who offer these ancillary services. They are better off outsourcing these services. Adoption of successful models from peers. Just like when Nokia lost its leadership of the mobile phone market, organizations don't fail sometimes owing to incompetence. They fail because of their inability to adapt. Emotionally intelligent COOs have to look outward and observe what other CEOs are doing to achieve impressive results. There is no shame in understudying best practices from those who have shown mastery of their processes. Especially within the same or similar industries, a template can be emulated, not necessarily copied with exactness. While there is the role of innovation, it is also a valid maxim that if something is not broken, don't try to fix it. This might mean downsizing the organization's staff, infusing advanced technology, or patronizing a cost-effective supplier. Collaboration is the new competition. Business don't have to be cutthroat. Only emotionally intelligent COOs understand this, and they wield the power of collaboration even with other CEOs in other firms. Number 8, highly motivated staff. It takes empathy to lead people. Even with all the money in the world and the most advanced tech in play, a disgruntled team will never deliver optimally. COOs with high levels of emotional intelligence know that it's difficult, if not impossible, to demand from people what you have not first given to them. The general conditions of employment must be tailor-made to also ensure that the staff members are able to meet their physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem and self-actualization needs as depicted in the famous Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Once you show to every staff member through words and thoughtful actions that it's in their enlightened self-interest to be productive, just sit back and watch them blossom. Number 9, specialist training. Especially for large organizations where there is high division of labor, there should be a high degree of specialization, and this can be enhanced by coaching and mentoring. Coaching and mentoring is a very important feature of emotional intelligence. Each person or department should have their skills sharpened and updated regularly with the most recent competencies. It may be that the head of production or production manager will have to get certification in contemporary production processes. They might be the most sustainable asset in the production process, but don't expect miracles from your human resources that you haven't invested in. Number 10, regular systems audit. No matter the outcome of the production process, whether optimal or suboptimal, there is always room for improvement and innovation. There should be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannual, and annual review of your operations processes. Important metrics such as the input to output ratio, the unit cost of production, per unit revenue, waste and errors, marginal cost, fixed cost, variable cost, and many others should be identified and assessed. Effective quality control stems from self-control, which comes from emotional intelligence. Thank you for joining us on this episode. You can equip yourself and your team some more for peak performance and operational efficiency by getting my new book, The Magic of Emotional Intelligence. Visit our website to get your copies. You can also follow us at Abiola Champ on all social media platforms. For coaching, training, speaking, and collaboration inquiries, please send an email to hello@abiolachamp.com. It's been a pleasure sharing insights with you on how chief operating officers and everyone who works in operations can apply emotional intelligence to drive operational efficiency. Till the next episode, keep rocking your world like a champion.